Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, guys. I haven't recorded anything in so long. Yeah, there really is no excuse outside of the fact that I just have been feeling horrendous. But, however, I'm here today to do a quick update on the plumeria that I have been growing in Zone 6, Ohio. Now, if you're interested in hearing about that, stay tuned. Well, as you know, I started my original plumeria journey about 2 years ago and some months. I will link the original video that I did regarding plumeria in the drop down information section. Somewhere underneath the video. You know where it is. Where I will show I got four to start. Yeah, I got four to start and I rooted them. But one did not root. I actually got Dwarf Singapore. Which one was the one that died? I think it was Dwarf Singapore Pink that died. It just went to mush. And I heard that it's notoriously hard to root. And so that was the only one that failed. I got four of them, four cuttings, and the three that were left absolutely took, and they did beautifully. So what do I have left? I have the Dwarf Deciduous. Let me show you the flower while I do this quick rundown of the ones I originally had. So the Dwarf Deciduous looks like this. Beautiful white flower with a bright egg yolk yellow center. And it's supposed to have a fresh floral fragrance, which is why I got it. My Dwarf Deciduous is the one in my original collection that blooms all the time. I'll put some of the blooming videos linked down below so that you can see how it looks when it blooms. And here's the plant itself. Despite having it for 2 years, let me get down on the ground. Despite having it for 2 years, they don't grow very fast in Zone 6. We're not hot enough to support rapid growth of plumeria. But I mean, as it is, I personally don't want them growing too fast because I obviously grow in a greenhouse or the plants are inside my house. This plant has been repotted once. I had it in a what was those tall square like nursery pots when I first rooted it, and then I put it in this. I would say, should I have the chance again in repotting, and I did, stay tuned, I'll tell you about the new ones, I won't use clay because when it's time to transfer them to a bigger pot, the clay does tend to ruin their roots a bit. However, if you've ever watched some indoor, people who grow plumerias in colder zones, they actually have to prune the roots of the plumeria occasionally, like once every 2 years or so, to keep them compact. So maybe ripping it out of the clay pot isn't so much of a bad idea, right? But yeah, so I personally, I'll choose the plastic pots going forward because I just don't like the idea of damaging the roots. So this is my bloomer. Of the three that are left from the original collection, it's the one that actually bloomed. And it is my smallest one. After blooming, it grew an extra little branch, and that's what they're supposed to do. I don't know if it's going to bloom this year, but it's leafing out beautifully. So we'll see. The next one I had, this is, you know, the little round roots, round leaves remind me of, what's that one? What was it called? See, pregnancy brain. I usually have a great memory, mind you. Penang peach. Yeah, Penang peach and the seedlings tend to have rounder leaves. So, yeah. This is Dwarf Musk Rainbow. It does have another name, and I will link it in the video description below. It's a male name. And it has a beautiful flower. Had to put that down. And as you can see, here's the overview of the plant itself. This one is a lot taller than my little miniature dwarf deciduous, but it has not yet bloomed. It is, however, growing very healthily. Let me see if I can show you in comparison to the dwarf deciduous, the size of musk rainbow. Musk rainbow from the ground right now in the pot is about 2.5 feet. And it hasn't bloomed yet. It is a larger growing plant than the dwarf deciduous, but ordinarily from what I've heard, in 5 years the thing should probably still be under 5 feet. So far it's short. However, I got it for the fragrance, and one day I do hope, maybe this year, maybe next year, it'll bloom. They tend to bloom 2 to 3 years after rooting. That's a rule I've heard, and I'll tell you that's not necessarily true. But for the bigger growing ones, they tend to take a little longer to bloom. My other one that survived is this big beauty right here. So yeah, I also got Dwarf Divine for the beauty of the flower and the fragrance. These are some of the strongest scents in the plumeria world. That's why I decided to get this one for sure. Now, my Dwarf Divine is absolutely gorgeous. The leaves are clean. It never seems to have pests. It has 3 growths, and it has not flowered as yet, but I'm not too worried. It grows so healthily that I'm pretty sure when it's ready, it will do something. It is the tallest one I have right now, and it's about maybe an inch taller than the musk rainbow. They're planted in a very airy mix, and they are kept completely dry from about November until January, at which point I start watering them sparingly, because the truth is, if you see their little the stems getting wrinkled, that's when you should give them a little bit of water. I don't let them wrinkle too much, because I personally think, because I'm in an environment where it's definitely suboptimal, you don't want to stress them too much. So of these 3, these are the ones that I have left. I had 4 originally, and the first one didn't root. However, this year, because I absolutely failed with my roses, I said, you know what? I'm going to switch gears, and I'm just gonna get more plumeria. And that's what I did. So, here are my new plumeria. One thing I must tell you that I did differently with these plumeria. I rooted all of them about 4 weeks ago. Maybe not even 4. Maybe 4 to 5 weeks ago. And I did something new this time in the rooting process. As you can see, they are sitting in their large pots, and they're sitting on heat mats. That is the same thing I did the last time with the first 4 that I had. And they rooted just fine. However, I thought to do something different this time, and what I decided to do was, I heard about this process of rooting plumeria using a raw egg. Putting the raw egg at the bottom of their pot, and planting the plumeria stem on top of it, not crushing the egg. So you're leaving the egg in the pot whole, and you cover it up. Something about the decomposition of the egg, perhaps the dispersion of the sulfur or other nutrients as it rots, is supposed to encourage rapid rooting, which is especially beneficial for those of us that are rooting some plumeria that are harder to root, like the dwarf. Is this my guy that actually this is dwarf pink Singapore. That was the one I got 4 years ago, and it rotted, and I decided to try it again. I said, if I'm gonna try this again, let me try it and use the egg method and see what happens. It started to leaf out. There was no rotting. Maybe it could be the cutting this time. Maybe it could be the conditions, because I was rooting in winter this time versus the beginning of spring. And that really makes a difference here in zone 6. But Every single one of my stems turned out healthy. And guess what? These are freshly rooted stems. And I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah. Yeah, this is a full head that is getting ready to bloom. It did not, this did arrive with a bloom stem on it, but sometimes these things fall off when, you know, it comes with the bloom stem. So I was amazed that it decided to flower. And they all look like they're going to flower. Now, which ones did I get? Is the question. I got 5. I figured, hey, I have 5 kids, well, 4 and 1 on the way. It should be born. He should be born in the end of July. Yay! Anyway, or beginning of August. You know, babies, they do what they want to do. I got these. I decided to replace my one that failed. I heard it's not easy to root. Dwarf Pink Singapore. And I don't know if it's rooted yet. I'm not going to disturb it, but it's doing fine. I got the consummate favorite, Penang Peach. Let me show you the flowers. So that's Dwarf Singapore Pink, little pinwheel flowers. Also known for its gorgeous fragrance. Penang Peach, also known for its sunset coloration and wonderful peach fragrance. So yeah, I was totally into that. So yeah, that's these two. And I also got Siam Ruby, which is a classic red. Mind you, these are freshly rooted, so the flower is going to be smaller. The fragrance is going to be lighter, you know, even when your plants are freshly rooted. Siam Ruby is supposed to be beautifully fragrant. And I'll have you know, this first flower is tiny. But guess what? The thing smells fantastic. It's spicy. It has a little touch of nutmeg to the floral, so I really like that. And then over here is Keiki, which is supposed to be a purple flower that looks like this. Keiki is supposed to have a smaller purple flower and a fruity fragrance. Yeah. And last but not least, over here is Kauka Wilder, Kauka Wilder. And would you know, I am looking at, when I got this thing, none of the branches were awake. So this is waking up now. You can see evidence with this nice green coloration in the center right here. There you go. That's a sign that it's waking up. It kind of looked like, focus, this kind of purple. And then look, as this woke up, guess what? It started to produce a bloom spike. This is unprecedented for me. Rooting 5 plumeria and looking at the plumeria. Of the 5, 3 of them have bloom spikes on them. It's fantastic. This has never happened for me. I mean, obviously, my experience with plumeria is only 2 years, but yeah, this is amazing. Oh, I said 3 have a bloom spike. Keiki does also. It decided to produce one. And this was, see, you can see right there at the tip, the little like cone-shaped heads. That was not there when I first got the thingy, the cutting. So listen, if you're rooting your plumeria and you want as great a success as you can, I've got to say I'm impressed with this particular rooting method. They are in very airy potting mix. I have soil, I had pumice, I had oh, that white stuff, what is that white thing? My head is absolutely gone right now. You know what it is. I used that, and it's oh, there's some manure in there as well, but there's a whole, oh yeah, and I used some lava rock because I really wanted the mix to be very light, and there's some fresh cedar wood bark in there as well, so that it's super airy mix. These right here are topped with the little pea gravel, and this is topped with some mulch. I ran out of my pea gravel, so I didn't use it. So anyway, these are in the greenhouse, still rooting. I haven't even put them outside yet because once I put them in the pot, I water them and I leave them about a month with no watering. And at the month mark, I gave them some water around the rim of the pot to make sure I didn't have any shriveling of my stems. And as you can see, all the stems are looking great, very plump. Oh, I didn't show you Coca Wilder's flower. Coca Wilder has a gorgeous elongated petal, larger flowers, pinwheel shaped flowers, and deep rich sunset coloration, as you can see.